Mira stormed through the front door of the Akela estate, her pulse pounding with frustration. The accusations from the media were still fresh in her mind, but she hadn't expected to walk into the lion's den quite so soon. Her father, Alpha Akela, was seated in the grand living room, his expression as cold and unyielding as a stone monument. Edward, his illegitimate son, lounged nearby with a smug smirk plastered across his face. Mira knew that expression well. It always preceded trouble. The moment her shoes clicked against the marble floor, Alpha Akela's sharp voice sliced through the air. "Mira, have you no shame?" She froze, startled by the sheer force of his words. "Father, I can explain." "Explain?" he scoffed, rising to his feet with an imposing presence that made her shrink slightly. "What explanation could possibly justify your reckless behavior? Do you have any idea how your actions have tarnished our family's name?" "I didn't." "Enough!" He cut her off, his voice booming through the room. "Your position as deputy CEO was supposed to be a chance for you to prove yourself, Mira. Instead, you've embarrassed this family and jeopardized the company. I want your resignation on my desk by morning. And hand over your shares." Mira's stomach dropped. She had anticipated anger, but not this level of condemnation. "Father, please listen. This is all a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" Edward interjected with a chuckle. "If you're going to have a one-night stand, Mira, at least choose someone more suitable. That man in the photo, married with several lovers already. Hardly a mark of good judgment for the deputy CEO of Akela Enterprises." Mira's jaw tightened as she turned to face him. "How do you know so much about him, Edward? He's not exactly a household name." Edward's smirk faltered for a split second, but he quickly recovered. "It's common knowledge. Anyone with half a brain could figure it out." Her eyes narrowed. "Common knowledge? Funny, because even I didn't know about those details. And I'm the one supposedly involved with him. How could you be so familiar with his private life?" Edward's expression darkened. "What are you implying?" "I'm not implying anything," Mira said, her voice steady despite the storm brewing inside her. "I'm asking how you happen to know things that aren't public information. Could it be because you orchestrated this entire situation?" Alpha Akela's gaze snapped to Edward, his eyes narrowing dangerously. "Edward, is there any truth to what she's saying?" Edward raised his hands defensively. "Of course not, Father. Mira's just trying to deflect blame. She's always been good at playing the victim." But his words sounded hollow, and the crack in his composure did not go unnoticed. Mira pressed on. "Think about it, Father. Who benefits the most from my downfall? Who stands to gain if I'm removed from my position?" The room fell into a tense silence. Alpha Akela's face hardened as he looked at Edward. "Explain yourself. Now." Edward stammered, his earlier confidence evaporating. I only heard rumors, that's all. I wouldn't." Mira caught the flicker of disappointment in her father's eyes. It was subtle but unmistakable. For the first time in years, she felt a sliver of hope that he might actually believe her. Before Alpha Akela could respond, Rex, the family's trusted advisor, entered the room. He carried a tablet and a folder, his expression grave. "Pardon the interruption, Alpha Akela," Rex said, bowing slightly, "but I have urgent news. A large mineral deposit has been discovered near the border with the Stormpack. If exploited, it could bring over $100 billion wolf dollars to the Akela family." Alpha Akela's brow furrowed. $100 billion? That's significant. What's the catch? "The deposit is located in a volatile area," Rex explained. "The Stormpack's territory is unpredictable, and they're not known for their diplomacy. Securing this deal will require careful negotiation and significant risk." The room fell silent as the weight of Rex's words sank in. Alpha Akela's gaze shifted between Mira and Edward, his expression unreadable. "Father," Mira began cautiously, "if this deal is as lucrative as Rex says, it could secure our family's future. But it needs someone capable and determined to make it happen." Alpha Akela's eyes bore into hers. Capable and determined. Qualities that seemed to be in short supply lately. He straightened, his voice taking on the authoritative tone that left no room for argument. Here's how this will go. Whoever can secure this deal and oversee the exploitation of the mineral deposit will prove themselves worthy to lead Akella Enterprises. The position of CEO will go to the one who accomplishes this task. Do I make myself clear? Edward's face turned pale. Father, it's dangerous. The storm pack isn't to be trifled with. Surely there's another way to determine who's fit to lead. Alpha Akella's expression hardened. Are you saying you're not up to the task, Edward? Edward hesitated, his silence speaking volumes. Mira felt a surge of vindication but kept her composure. She stepped forward, her voice steady and resolute. I'll do it, she said firmly. I'll secure the deal and oversee the exploitation. I'll prove that I'm the best choice to lead this family and this company. Alpha Akella's gaze lingered on her, searching for any sign of weakness. Finally, he gave a single, deliberate nod. Very well. The task is yours, he said. But understand this, Mira. Failure is not an option. If you can't handle this, you'll be out of the company for good. I understand, Mira replied, her voice unwavering. And I won't fail. As her father turned away, Mira caught a glimpse of Edward's furious expression. She didn't care. For the first time in years, she felt a fire ignite within her. This was her chance to prove to everyone, to her father, to Edward, and most importantly to herself, that she was capable of leading the Akella legacy. The stakes were high, and the path ahead was fraught with danger. But Mira Akella was determined to rise to the challenge. She would not back down.